Hey gang, John Backrella here with your Lake St. Clair Fishing Report brought to you by Sportsmen Direct. It is Wednesday, April 3rd, and we got some great weather coming up this weekend. But let's talk about the lake first. Right now, water temperature at Belle Isle is back up to at least 42 degrees on the site that I watch for the water temps. But I'm hearing from guys that have been fishing the river that saying that water temp's quite a bit lower than that. I know one of my buddies was out the other day and said he was getting like 37 degrees. And I was looking on another site that said it was like just under 39. So we're going to say it's somewhere between 39 and 42 degrees. And that's still down a long way from where it was like 3 weeks ago. But we are on the upswing right now from where we were about a week ago. Anyways, so we actually skimmed back over up on the north end last week, which kind of crazy up by the raft bar. It actually, Main Lake skimmed over and the marshes all skimmed back over. The water temperature plummeted down to 36 degrees, which really slowed things down big time. Now, the only thing that's really kind of picked up, or at least is getting a lot more attention, is the walleye bite on the Detroit River. And if you follow charter captains like Captain Jason Quintano of Fins and Grins Charters on like social media, like on Facebook, you will see right now that those guys are going out and they are finally getting regular limits of, real quality walleyes right now out there on the river. Now, there's a lot of years that we would have a lot of really big fish coming to net right now. And it's just kind of strange right now because of this crazy weather and that sudden warm-up we've had and then the big cool down. We're getting a mixture of some of these big fish. We're seeing them spawned out already. We're seeing them actively spawning. And then there's a lot of fish that are pre-spawn that haven't spawned yet. And I think there's a lot of big fish that haven't really come up into the river system up on this, closer to Lake St. Clair like they normally would have by this time. And that's evidenced by like the size of the fish that we're getting right now. Like the big fish for the walleye, for the Ultimate Walleye Derby is under 10 pounds. It's only 9.66 pounds. And that's at least when I looked earlier today, that's the big fish. And we should be over 10 pounds and we're not. One of the guys that I know, Joe Bauer from Smallmouth Heaven Guide Service, weighed a nice fish in this week. And for him, that was like one of the biggest ones, and it was only a 7.5 pounder. So just barely under 7.5 pounds. It was a really nice, fat, quality fish. She hadn't spawned out yet, but that's kind of what we're seeing right now, is we're seeing not the big giants that we would normally see right now. So I don't think those fish are through the system yet. I think there are better things to come, and we should definitely see that on this next warm-up that we've got coming up. If you look at this weather forecast going forward, going into this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday next week just look fantastic. And we're on the upswing now. We got warmer temperatures. We're going to have sunshine. You got a lot of dirty water out there, which means it's going to soak that sunshine up. It's going to warm up fast, okay? So I expect the fishing this weekend to be just stellar, especially going into early next week for you guys that can fish Monday and Tuesday on the big warm-up when we get into the mid-60s. Things should really take off. Now, everything should take off because everything really slowed down. The perch bite slowed down. The panfish bite slowed down. Like I said, the only thing that really started to pick up was that walleye bite, and I think a lot of it just has to do with there was a lot more pressure. Those fish were there, and everybody's finally gotten their boats in the water, and they're really out targeting them now, and they're catching those eyes. But a lot of these panfish really slowed down. Like I said, that water temperature crashed. And for as much as it changed down there on the Detroit River, up here on the main lake, it crashed even more, especially in the shallows and the marsh areas that had really warmed up. Some of them were pushing close to 50 degrees, and they slammed down and everything kind of came to a screeching halt. And just as fast as it started up, it crashed, it's going to pick back up again. Places like Harson's Island ought to explode this weekend and going into next week with the sun and the warmer temperatures. All the shallow backwaters for you guys that want to chase largemouth bass and pike, those ought to be exploding going into this weekend as well. So, there should just be an awful lot of fishing opportunities for everybody with this nicer weather. So it's not just going to be nicer for us to go out, it's going to be great for the fish too. here's a little tip for you guys. With this warm up that's coming, I was looking at that forecast, and we're going to get some southeast winds. You're going to get some south winds, but they're going to have some east in them as well. And those southeast winds are going to push that warm, as that lake water warms, that warm surface water is going to get pushed. And so you're going to want to fish whatever the windward side is. So places like Metro Beach, that shoreline is going to face to the southeast, and so that warm water is going to get pushed up in there more than other areas. Up on the north end of the lake, up there up by like Fairhaven up there, should get a good warm water push as well. This is the time of the year where you kind of play that wind, right? So that top layer of water warms up, and then that wind pushes it, and it's going to stack that warm water up. And it could be even in a canal, right? So if that wind is pushing that warm surface water from one side of the canal to the other, you may find that you got a stronger bite over on that side where that water is getting stacked up. So wherever you are on the lakeshore, and this goes for inland lakes too, this isn't just Lake St. Clair, but wherever that warm water stacks up is where you're probably going to find the fish. Now, that water may be dirty over in that area, okay, and that may affect the bite a little bit, but just know that you're going to have more active fish pushed into that warmer water. They're going to be seeking out that warmer water. The bait fish are going to be looking for that warmer water, and that wind's going to be a factor, I'm sure, this weekend in doing that. Crocker Road, or I should say Clinton River Cutoff boat launch update. They were dredging away for days before the holiday over there. They had 2 dredges going. They were dredging actually from each side of the canal down by the mouth, and I think they worked their way down a little bit too. They got a lot of dredging material down there stacked up. When I looked as of yesterday, they still had the dredges down there, but right now that park is still closed. So as soon as I find out an opening date, I will let you all know. A lot of you have been calling the store or emailing the store or sending us messages. As soon as I have a date, I will let you know. I'm sure they're going to have to go back in and survey again, and I'm guessing they're not going to move that equipment until they do another survey because they don't want to go through this drill again. At least I would hope that's what they're planning to do. So I would guess they're going to have to resurvey, and then if they got to touch any areas up, they're going to do that while they still have the equipment there. So I'd rather wait right now, get it done right, and then they can move that equipment out of there and get her open back up. But as soon as I get an update from the state, I will let you all know about that. I have no satellite image for you this week. I just looked, and everything is just like it is out there today, right? A lot of cloud cover, so I really don't have a good satellite image for the lake. I know there's a lot of color out there in the lake in a lot of areas, just because the wind's been going back and forth, and we have had some rain, so you can expect that you're going to have variable water conditions out there wherever you might be going. But regardless of all that, just know that dramatic cold snap, as quick as it slowed everything down, like last week, it's going to just as quickly speed things back up going into this weekend and going into next week. So if you get a chance, get out there and enjoy it. Take advantage of the bite that I know is going to happen out there in the next few days. Hey gang, if you like our content, hit the little subscribe button and the bell icon, and you'll be notified as soon as we put out new stuff.